Well, it is happening more and more. Shoplifters brazenly stealing from supermarkets across the city.
We've seen it ourselves. Store owners say the thieves often walk in with shopping bags, backpacks, sometimes suitcases, and they walk out with bagfuls of goods. Carlos Collado is manager and owner of several Fine Fare supermarkets across the city. He says every day at least one of his stores is being robbed. Carlos, thank you so much for joining us from the Bronx this morning. Most of your stores are in the Bronx?
Yes, good morning, Rosanna and Bianca. Yes, we have 5 stores in the Bronx and 1 in Manhattan.
So, Carlos, tell us about your experience. What are you seeing now that didn't happen, say, 2 years ago?
Yes, I'm a member of an organization, an association of supermarkets, and with over 400 stores. And every time we meet lately, for the last year, this has been our number one concern. And every one of us will, just have the same experience. We have these professional criminals that walk into our stores, and they are just brazen. They come in with another thing that has sort of contributed to this problem is the Shopping Bag Law Act that prohibited us from using plastic bags, which is a great thing for the environment, but now has created another monster for us. That folks come in with these reusable bags, and they insist on shopping with these bags, despite the fact that we have signs at the entrance. And the shoplifters, as professional as they are, they take advantage of this.
Are you concerned that your supermarkets may close because of this rampant shoplifting going on?
Oh, indeed. We are all very concerned. We're all trying to implement methods to try to prevent it. We display less of the items that are targeted. Personally, I'm speaking to a company that uses AI robots to see if we can get some assistance, because the problem is that dire.
Well, what do you mean about the AI robots? How would that work? Would they be like security around the store?
Sort of walk around and use artificial intelligence to understand kind of predictive and alert personnel.
Well, I know that you are clearly doing everything that you can to prevent this from happening. However, when you just look at the laws currently, if a thief wants to steal anything below $1,000, they're not prosecuted. They cannot go to jail. So your gripe is with the current justice system, is it not?
Oh, absolutely. It all started precisely after bail reform. That, didn't start, but it really it became rampant right after bail reform. Because now we have the more dangerous criminals, not just the petty larceny. Now we have these criminals that, when we confront them, take out knives, come back with guns. We've had members where they come back with rifles, guns. They take out guns. It's getting really dangerous. I personally had some that have assaulted me. I had one that they feel like entitled.
Yeah.
And this particular shoplifter had like 35 Häagen-Dazs ice creams.
Well, whether it's a gun, whether it's shears or an infected needle, this is something that DA Alvin Bragg said that he was going to prosecute and take a bit more seriously. Yet he seems to be a bit silent. I know his spokesperson, Danielle Filson, said that no grocer in Manhattan should have to experience theft, and that our office has met with grocery store owners and teamed up with NYPD and local businesses to tackle this issue head on. Have they done that?
No. And in fact, the association has met with Bragg's and also the Bronx DA. And there's just no assistance coming. We speak with law enforcement. They try to do their best. And they feel like they're just pouring water in a bottomless pit.
Who is your state assemblyman and state senator? Have you reached out to them?
Carl Heastie in my area, on one of them.
Carl Heasties. By the way, Carl Heasties carries some power in Albany.
Absolutely.
Did you reach out to him and tell him what's going on in your business?
I've reached out to, in the past, I haven't seen a reaction. I've reached out to Senator Jamal Bailey recently, and regarding some regulations that will further hurt us instead of help us.
So what are you going to do? I mean, you just let them come in and rob everything in your store? Like, how do you handle this every day?
No, right. I mean, sometimes this is the breakfast of the morning, and being that we're small family stores, we have to confront them. Otherwise, we will go out of business, and our 25 to 50 employees, depending on the store, won't have a job. So we have to just continue fighting and every day try to implement measures to curtail as much as possible.
Carlos Collada, we support you, and let us know how we can help you, because Fine Fair Supermarkets, it's not fair to the people in that area. It's not fair to the people who work there. And of course, you work so hard. It's just not fair.
And you just hope that your elected officials will hear you out and do something.
And we're going to continue to reach out to them. And as you're saying, it's not fair to the other customers. The majority of our customers are great. It's just a small percentage that takes advantage of these laws.
Right. Carlos Collada, all the best. Thank you so much for being on Good Day.
Thank you.
Shalom. This is the Akmal Akbar. I want to start off by saying, Kol Haloyim La Yahweh Bahashem HaMashiach Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, who are our spiritual fathers, leaders, and teachers, who deserve double honors and rule very well. Peace, love, mercy, and salutation to the hopeful elect, and to the sincere and diligent Akim that are all doing the will of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai in all sincerity and in truth. And Lord willing, this is a quick and edifying lesson. This is the book of Matthew, St. Matthew 24:12. It says, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. The NLT version reads, sin will be rampant everywhere, and the love of many will grow cold. Let me get this word rampant real quick. The word rampant means especially of something unwelcome or unpleasant flourishing or spreading unchecked. So that's how sin is intensifying, right? And the love of many is growing colder and colder, right? See if we can get the word cold in the interlinear. Shall wax cold.
Strong's G 5594.
Sucho. And when you look at it, it looks like cycle. It says to breathe, blow, cool, or by blowing, metaphor for waning of wanting love. Disappear. One of the words it says, especially of a condition or feeling, decrease in vigor, power, or extent, become weaker, decrease. So the love of many is decreasing. A lot of people don't really care for anybody nowadays. So the love amongst people is getting far worse than what it's ever been in decades, right? And proof of that is what the clip that you just saw, right? You basically saw, a lot of individuals extremely, upset over the laws of them doing away with the plastic bags, and them running into stores, breaking into stores and taking goods and bringing their own bags to do so. Well, of course, it's going to get to the point where you're going to see that escalating more and more. Let me get this precept real quick. This is the book of 2nd Esdras 15 and 14 through 19. And it reads, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. And that's what you're going to start to see a whole lot of here in the soils of America. Very soon there's going to be a time that has never been seen before. That's what's fastly approaching, right? It says, for there shall be sedition among men. Let's get this word sedition real quick. this is the word sedition in the regular Google definition: conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority of a state or monarch. Agitation, right? The state of anxiety or nervous excitement. That's another thing you're starting to see. You're starting to see a very high level of anxiety amongst a lot of people. A lot of people are on edge, right? Then you have rioting. That's another thing that's going to take place. The violence, disturbance of the peace by a crowd, right? You're also seeing rebellion. It says an act of violent or open resistance to an established government or ruler, right? Disobedience, failure or refusal to obey rules or someone in authority. These are all things that you're witnessing, and it's going to escalate more and more, right? And insurgents, an act of rising in an active revolt, right? So of course a lot of these things are going to start to take place more and more. It says, for there shall be, back in 2nd Ezra 15 and 16, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and that's your government officials, right? They're not going to regard them, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, and this can easily set off martial law, right? Where they could just basically, shut down certain places that you try to go into, right? Set up certain checkpoints, right? Where you won't even be able to go from one city to another. It says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And that's what you're going to start seeing more of, right? You're going to start to see men, women, and children afraid, right? There was an incident that occurred that I saw a video of, where a man, his child, she had to be no more than, I would say, 6-7 years old, maybe 8, and his wife, and they were all walking, right, in New Jersey, where I'm from, in the city of New Jersey, and they were basically walking together, and a man just basically rolled up on them with like a fanny pack, but inside the fanny pack he pulled out a gun, and he pulled out the gun and he basically grabbed the man's chain and he snatched it off his neck in front of his child. He didn't care whether he was with his wife or child. He just did that, took the chain and then walked away, right? And these are the things that you're going to start to see more of. There was even a shooting incident that occurred about a few months back, where an individual shot at a man while he was with his 2 kids in the Bronx or somewhere in New York, right? So these incidents are going to start to occur. You're going to start to see people breaking into stores, right? Into your local Walmarts, into your supermarkets, right? All of these areas, there's things that are going to intensify. You could see a glimpse of that in the movie World War Z, where everybody was basically running into the supermarket, trying to grab their goods and then basically and then run, because there was an outbreak that went down. There was like there was zombies all over the place, right? So these people they were fearing for themselves, So you're gonna start to see a lot of that. It says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. It says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, right? And how won't he have pity upon his neighbor? Because your very neighbor, or somebody that you knew for so many years of your life, man, when the shit hits the fan, they're gonna not care, and they're gonna just break in your house and take whatever the hell you got. And that's what's gonna happen. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. And you might have known this individual for so many years. All of a sudden, he just turned on you, and shall destroy their houses with the sword. He may have a gun in his hand, he may have a weapon, a machete, whatever the case may be, right? But shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation, and that's what's going to happen as well, right? So these are all things that are going to happen, right? And as the man was speaking upon it, man, he tried to see if he could, talk to an individual to see, concerning these things. But, really, it's going to come to a point where there ain't going to be no cops out here. You're just going to start to see a lot of, military men out here with their tanks, right? There won't be cops. You ain't going to be able to call 911 anymore, right? Oh, somebody came and broke into my house. Oh, my store got my local grocery store, somebody broke in. Ain't nobody gonna help, because those are the times that we're approaching, pursuant to Daniel 12:1, a time like never before seen, and these things are only gonna escalate and intensify as we get closer and closer to the coming of our Lord Yahushua and to the end of this man's rulership, right? So, Lord willing, this was edifying. With that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Makakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders who deserve double honors and rule very well. Peace, love, mercy, and salutation to the hopeful elect, and to the sincere and diligent Akim that are all doing the will of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai in all sincerity and in truth. Lord willing, until next time, I can say, Kwam Yasha Allah Ba'ababa. Shalom.